Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another WWE Reddit video. This is, of course, the series where you can submit your photos, videos, memes, questions, or anything related to the world of professional wrestling over on the SETH Videos Reddit page. So if you'd like to be featured in next week's WWE Reddit video, make sure that you check out the Reddit page. I'll make it super easy for you and put a link in the description for you. As always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I am incredibly confident that you are going to fall in love with this YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. And if the daily wrestling content just simply isn't enough for you, make sure you check out the Patreon, patreon.com/SETH. Over there, we upload the Raw reviews, SmackDown reviews, and a whole bunch of other series that are exclusively available there that use real footage that we can never post here because they would just get blocked due to copyright here on YouTube. So go check it out. Link in the description, link in the pinned comment. You already know. Let's see what you guys sent in this week. The fact that they both had the greatest cash-ins only for them to vacate is crazy to me. It really is unfortunate. Naomi had what I thought was the best cash-in in women's history, and then Seth Rollins goes ahead and tops it with what I think is the greatest cash-in in history, period, with the ruse of the century at SummerSlam to completely pull the rug from CM Punk. Of course, we know that Naomi had to vacate the championship because she's pregnant, and same with Seth Rollins. Just to clarify, he's not pregnant. I meant that it's the same in that he also had to vacate the championship. At least as far as I know, Seth Rollins is not pregnant. And it took a while for WWE to really get its bearings after Naomi had to vacate the championship. You gotta remember, like, WWE had that women's world title vacated for like an entire month. It wasn't until WrestlePalooza where they finally figured out who they wanted as a champion. And frankly, I feel like they're still trying to figure it out because Stephanie VACATES has yet to even really have a championship defense at all. And now with Seth Rollins, all respect to Naomi, this is an even bigger loss because so many major main event threads ran through the vision. So many long-term plans, so many long-term careers all ran through the vision, and all of that has either been thrown out the window or has been accelerated by magnitudes of 1, maybe even 2 years. And I've seen people in the comments section saying that there was no way that the vision was gonna last 2 years. Listen, Evolution lasted like 2 years, and it took the whole Batista thing like 2 years to develop, and I see a lot of similarities in the way that they were treating Batista's career as well as Braun Breaker. So I genuinely believed that there was a strong possibility that the whole implosion of the vision wouldn't happen until Braun Breaker won the 2027 Royal Rumble. And here we are at the end of 2025 with the vision already sunsetted. So the big question is obviously what's next. WWE has already moved the gears along. We have CM Punk versus Jey Uso, which of course Jey Uso winning the Battle Royal is going to be a big topic of today's video. So many people sent in different memes or different discussion points about it. But at least we have our next step, and it's not going to take a month to figure out who our next champion is going to be. Me personally, I believe it should be CM Punk. I think that championship should go from a Seth Rollins, a big money main eventer, to another big money main eventer in CM Punk. I think right now the championship needs a CM Punk rather than a Jey Uso needing the championship. I think that giving the championship to CM Punk is the best route to go at the moment. But hey, who the hell knows? Clearly somebody in creative absolutely adores Jey Uso, so I wouldn't be surprised if Jey Uso is going to be our next world champion. We're getting a new Batista. First of all, this is an absolutely awesome photo. Did you take this with like an old school camera? Because this looks old school and I absolutely adore this. Like I have photos like this from when I was a kid going to wrestling shows using my little disposable camera. So if you took this with a disposable camera, this is awesome. If you took this with your iPhone, brother, you suck at taking photos and you got scammed. Either way, my goodness, does this championship not look absolutely flawless on Braun Breaker? It is just a matter of time. I think to me, the most diabolical thing that WWE has done with this whole thing with Braun Breaker and the World Championship is that they had him pull the trigger on turning on Seth Rollins, and then they had him carry around the World Championship only for WWE to go, and now, just kidding, he isn't going to be our next World Heavyweight Champion. He isn't even going to be in contention for the World Heavyweight Champion because we're going to remove him for the Battle Royal. To me, it's a matter matter of like, well, if you're teasing it like this, if you're already basically telling us this is our next world champion, why not just do it right away? Like, why do this like long-term booking thing when you already pulled the trigger on the thing that was meant to be long-term booking? Like, we're here. We're in the Braun Breaker World Championship era. I think artificially elongating it by preventing him from being able to go after the World Championship is a moot cause. Just give him the damn thing already. He looks great with it. What do we think of this? WWE has officially announced that New Orleans will be hosting Money in the Bank next year on September 6, 2026. By the way, this is the consolation prize. This is the consolation prize of Las Vegas absolutely yoinking WrestleMania 42 away from New Orleans. To me, this isn't particularly a great consolation prize. Money in the Bank is a great show, but it pales in comparison in terms of the economic impact that a WrestleMania can have on a town. This sucks for New Orleans if this is the alternative, but in terms of like what I think as a fan, I think it's kind of great that it's going to be in September and not in the summer. I think it's going to help fill the void of that fall period where there just really isn't that much to look forward to in the months of September all the way through to Survivor Series War Games. I like the fact that it's going to be after SummerSlam as well. I always found it kind of weird that the lead up to SummerSlam had two like tournament or gimmick matches that allowed you to become a #1 contender, like the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring, and the Mr. and Miss Money in the Banks just happening like back to back. To me, from a placement perspective, never really seemed to make sense. I think this allows WWE to focus the road to SummerSlam being the King and Queen of the Ring, and then maybe the road to Survivor Series War Games being Money in the Bank. I think it's a great idea to move this to September from like a business standpoint, especially in 2026. Brilliant idea to move this out of the summer because you don't want to be competing against the 2026 FIFA World Cup. It's comical at this point. Yeah, I see this floating around. Triple H loves his Samoans and everybody else. LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes, Painta Julia, Motor City Machine Guns, Chelsea Green, Ray Phoenix, Bailey, Chad Gable, DIY, Austin Theory, Lyra, Sheamus, Roxanne Perez, Street Profits, Alba Fire, all drowning at the depths of Triple H's feet. Listen, it's I want to say it's not true, but like the evidence that has been bestowed upon us over the last couple of years is that if you are part of the bloodline in some capacity, you're just kind of ready-made for the main event. Like Triple H just knows how to book you significantly better, or will book you significantly better. But there are a lot of names at the bottom of this pool that I keep scratching my head. Like, how are you doing nothing with Julia? You're literal United States Women's Champion. I don't get it. I will never get it. Carmelo Hayes needs some love. All of these names need some love. Maybe they should all become Samoan, and maybe they'll all get Royal Rumble wins. WrestleMania 42 tickets are officially on sale, and I'm sure that you've already heard that the ticket prices are rather steep. And I do plan on going to both nights of the show. However, I intend to make sure that I get the best possible prices. And I'll be doing that thanks to today's video sponsor, SeatGeek. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app, and for very good reason. There are more than 70,000 events already listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sporting events, festivals, and of course, wrestling shows. And with SeatGeek, you can be certain that you're going to be getting the absolute best price for whatever seat that you want at whatever show you plan to attend. All WWE premium shows, as well as Raw and SmackDown tickets, are all available on SeatGeek too. So make sure that you stop by there first before you buy your tickets to ensure that you get the best possible price. SeatGeek will actually show you if you're getting a good deal or not on whatever ticket it is that you're browsing. You're going to want to look for the green dots because green means good, red means a bad deal. Plus, tickets are backed by their buyer guarantee as well. And of course, you know that I came through for you guys because you can use code SANTI10 for 10% off your next set of tickets over at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code SANTI10. So make sure that you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so that you can use it later. Thank you again to SeatGeek for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get you back to the wrestling conversations that you came for. In case anyone was wondering. Okay, so I have experience experience on this, obviously, like being a YouTuber. So this is like an image that's circulating a lot. The data of the WWE YouTube channel's video of Jey Uso winning the Battle Royal, showing that it's got like a tremendous amount of dislikes at 34,000, 76% dislikes. I'm not saying that this isn't the case. I'm pretty confident that it has more dislikes than it does likes, that the general sentiment is negative. I just want people to know, whenever you see these photos, because they pop up a lot in the internet wrestling community after things that the internet doesn't like happens, this is not accurate. Like it's never been accurate. Ever since YouTube removed the physical dislike button, this is not accurate. This is like a back end scraping that is basically guesstimating how many dislikes a video could have. I promise you, this is not accurate. It's never been accurate, but that doesn't change the fact that a lot of people hated this. So who here thinks that they should stop pushing Jey and start pushing Big Jim? Here's the thing. I'm never a believer that you can't just simply do both. I think you can have a solid Jey Uso push, but I would love a Big Jim push. I would love for Jimmy Uso to get his time in the light, because when I look at the storyline that's currently going on of Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso, to me, the person that's pulling their weight the most in terms of like character development and just being overall more entertaining in general, to me, is Jimmy Uso. And I would love for this storyline, for the climax of it, for it to be Jimmy winning the big one as a big misdirection, as opposed to what we're all expecting to happen, which is Jey winning the big one again. So the dude that CM Punk pinned for a title shot last week just won an entire battle royal for a rematch. Yeah, it's not a great look. I will defend it in some regard. It's not as simple as that. Like Jey Uso, yes, did get pinned the previous week by CM Punk. Logically, LA Knight was the more protected of the two, the one that CM Punk has a lot more history with. To me, it would have made a lot more sense to do CM Punk versus LA Knight. But like, to add more context to this, let's not forget that in the earlier portions of that episode of Monday Night Raw, that Jey took a big beat down because he went out to help Jimmy Uso, right? So he wasn't able to win this because he helped Jimmy Uso. And then the story of the Battle Royal is that he did manage to win it because he didn't help Jimmy Uso. So I'm just trying to help people visualize like the narrative and the story that they're trying to go with. Again, I still think that LA Knight was the better choice. Let's be honest, Dom's neck tattoo sucks. First of all, nothing about Dominic Mysterio sucks. And second of all, I don't know, man. How many neck tattoos out there exist that you absolutely adore and love? I feel like a neck tattoo is like a bold statement to make that, you know, doesn't necessarily jive with most of society. Like, I don't think most people are out there wanting to get neck tattoos. So most people, when they see neck tattoos, don't immediately fall in love with the idea of the neck tattoo. I think this looks fine. It's not as if he's going to become an accountant anytime soon. This is a Mysterio at the end of the day. So in the world of professional wrestling, you know, I think getting a neck tattoo when you're already a ready-made man like a Dominic Mysterio is entirely fine. But, you know, like if you're maybe like getting your feet wet in NXT and you don't know if professional wrestling is going to become a long-term thing, and there's a possibility that you end up becoming, I don't know, like a pastor or an accountant or literally like an office job of any sort, maybe the neck tattoo isn't the best thing to do yet in your career.
On the line and bam! Big spine buster. Who's walking out?
Zarya, Alexa is small.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Not
Can
you.
you repeat your question?
Not you, bitch. What?
Okay, all right. That was good. That was good. Which would you rather, Rusev versus Cena for the IC title in a callback to their 2015 feud, or Mysterio versus Cena in Dom's hometown? Okay, I mean, between these two, like, both are appealing to me. I'm not gonna lie, especially like the modern version of Rusev. Like, sure, why not? I'd love to see him go up against Cena. But I've seen that before. I've never seen Dominic Mysterio versus John Cena. And to me, this is just such a perfect feud towards the latter back end of John Cena's retirement tour. This, to me, by magnitudes of like an order of 10,000, I would prefer to see over Rusev. Respectfully, because I do love the idea of Rusev versus Cena. But Dominic versus Cena infinitely is far more interesting. Unseen footage of The Undertaker. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Honestly, I bet you you a ton of this type of footage exists out there, especially from like the Ruthless Aggression era and like the 90s era, because they used to do like when like there's a next match coming up, they used to do these like green screened poses that they don't really do anymore. Now they do static images. This is cool. This is cool. I would love to see these for like every wrestler if possible. This was the last time The Rock appeared on WWE TV.
Hey, Rock, go fuck yourself.
Ah, he said the thing. Dude, what a time. What a time to be alive. What a night. I'm there. I'm like just around the corner. I'm behind The Rock's giant trap, so you can't quite see me. Too bad this led to absolutely nothing, because this was amazing. This is the exact reason why American crowds don't deserve WWE.
Great! Yes!
Yeah.
my!
Not the biggest pop for the return of Ilya Dragunov. I'm sure had this happened in Australia, it would have been a significantly bigger pop for sure. However, I weirdly think that the lack of pop here kind of worked in the long run for this match, because the pop and like the buzz for Ilya and this match started getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as the match went along, to the point when Ilya finally won, he kind of like earned the pop from the people. So I think in like the long term, maybe I'm trying to see like the silver lining here, but I think in the long term, wouldn't say that it worked, but more so that Ilya made it work. The new United States champion, Ilya Dragunov. Yeah, this is easily one of the coolest decisions that WWE has made. I love that Ilya Dragunov went to the school of AJ Styles of leave, get jacked, return, because that's exactly what he did. Ilya Dragunov was already in unbelievably good shape, but he seemed to have put on like a hefty amount of muscle for his WWE return. I love the fact that not only did he return, but like they pulled the trigger on something that so many people have been asking for, a big Ilya Dragunov push, and that they didn't wait, they didn't build up anything that was long-term storytelling like Triple H likes to do. They said, nah, fuck it, day one, baby, US title.
It's been such a long year, and nobody understands how I feel sitting on the sidelines for a year, waiting and hoping and training to come back better than anybody else. More ruthless, more ambitious, fearless, more courage, all these things, and everything that I accomplished over this year, this is a symbol of it.
I want to just say that WWE in Ilya's first time around before his injury, they did not give him the mic. And one of the things that a lot of NXT fans will tell you is that Ilya Dragunov shocked so many of us with how like pretty solid he was on the mic and telling a story, how intense he is. And they never gave him the opportunity to do that with his words in WWE's main roster. Hopefully this time around as a champion, they give him the mic, they give him backstage segments, interviews, to demonstrate to the world like he is more than just a bout machine. Like he can actually talk, he can tell a good story. Ilya has been pushed more in one day than Melo in over 1 year. Yeah, I would agree with the sentiment. I will say I do think that there is light at the end of the tunnel here with Carmelo Hayes. He is getting something that a lot of people don't get, which is TV time, which is story development, character development. I do think that the big climax of Carmelo Hayes' current storyline and push is a match with Ilya Dragunov, is to win the United States Championship. In fact, I actually thought that Sami Zayn's reign would end at the hands of Carmelo Hayes. I thought that that was the story that they were telling, that Carmelo Hayes continues to try to get an opportunity. He keeps getting stolen by The Miz. He gets an opportunity. The Miz interferes. All of these different things that prevented him from finally beating Sami Zayn. Once he exorcised the demon of The Miz, he goes back to Sami Zayn and finally wins, demonstrating to the world that he really is him. It can still tell that tale with Ilya Dragunov now being his final boss as opposed to Sami Zayn. And if you are an NXT fan, you know that Ilya Dragunov versus Carmelo Hayes will absolutely melt your balls off. Can't believe that MFT members showed up at AEW. This is what we're doing to the legendary Sting. We're turning him into memes, that he's a member of the MFT, that he's right there alongside No Aura JC Mateo having ass. Nah, man, nah, this is Sting. And like an aura machine. Sting with his silver hair, dude, this hits hard. I think WWE doesn't want Paige. All right, I'm going to give you the context here. This guy was in the front row and he had a sign of Paige come home, taken away from WWE's production team, which I guess obviously they don't want any signs about Paige, now known as Saraya, who was in AEW. They don't want any signs, but this isn't why I have this here. The reason why is because this guy didn't just have a Paige come home sign. I want you to look close. I want you to look real close here for a second. Once he reveals his other sign, you can see right there, folks. This man was hanging on to an oil up Santi sign, and WWE said, yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. Keep that one, pal. AJ Lee is the World Tag Team Champions. I'm just going to show it once. All right. Because like 50,000 different memes and jokes were submitted about this. All right, here it is. AJ Lee, haha, get your jokes out. This is funny. One's named AJ Styles, the other one's Dragon Lee. AJ Lee, oh my God, it's CM Punk's wife as tag team champions. How funny. All right, fine. I'll show you like one more. Okay, I promise you like 50 of these were sent in, and it is funny. All right, but we can't all just hang on to the same type of humor. All right, we can't all make the same jokes. Okay, I believe that Randy Orton's record of youngest male world champion at 24 years old will never be broken because of how long wrestlers have to stay in NXT for. I think that's actually like really interesting analysis. It's kind of like in the same way that it's going to be really hard for a new player to come in and beat LeBron's record of points because, well, LeBron got to start in high school and they don't allow people to go straight from high school to the NBA anymore. So there are new barriers in place that would prevent a 24-year-old from becoming WWE champion. I think that this is a very fair analysis. I do think it's possible if WWE finds like a 18, 19-year-old and they get through the NXT system in 1 to 2 years and are able to make it to the main roster and they're able to make it to the main event. The only one right now that's in the equation to be able to pull something off like this would be Javon Evans. But you're right, like they do tend to keep talent in NXT for 2 to 3 years at this point. And if they are 22 when they enter NXT, they're going to be too old to beat Randy's record by the time they get to the main roster. So I think there's something to this. EO during Rhea's entrance at Melbourne Super Show. Oh, there's no music playing. There we go. Now that's hardcore. Yep. Okay. That rocks. I love it. Just when the product got better, we got this. We are so unlucky. Body Slam has learned that Jacob Fatu is dealing with a non-wrestling related injury and is expected to keep him out of action for a very extended period, possibly well into 2026. Okay, so I've been seeing like now multiple reports because this was the original report that I saw, and that's why like, oh, everybody knew that Jacob Fatu was going to get written off on this last episode of Friday Night SmackDown. Now I'm like hearing reports of it being like a dental procedure, and it's not actually going to be as long as they initially said. I don't know. Here's the thing. It's the internet. So I don't ever really fully know what to frickin' believe. All I know is we're going to miss Jacob Fatu. That is the one certainty in life. Any amount of time that we get no Jacob Fatu in our lives is too long a time without Jacob Fatu. I really hope that we get this match before AJ retires next year. Right? This would actually be a crime to wrestling fans if they don't actually do AJ Styles versus CM Punk. We got it in like the triple threat qualifying match, but it involved El Grande Americano. I don't really think that historians are going to be remembering that matchup with El Grande Americano there, even though El Grande Americano is like genuinely amazing, especially the alleged Chad Gable version of him. But I would love to see this as an actual match, as a story, a match for the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm not going to lie. During the Battle Royal, when I saw AJ Styles out there in like the final 5, that's who I was rooting for. That's who I wanted to see go up against CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. There is still time, right? We don't have a definitive date for when AJ Styles is going to retire like John Cena, but we know it's around the corner. We know it's soon. We know we don't have a lot of time. So I hope that they recognize this and that they don't leave us holding our dicks and not giving us CM Punk versus AJ Styles at some point. Now that their second reign is over, can we admit that they may have 2 of the worst championship reigns in history? I mean, I think it's like a certainty, right? Somehow their second reign was worse than their first. And after seeing how good their match was against Dragon Lee and AJ Styles, and every time that they have a match, it's amazing. Like, to me, it makes me upset. Not at Finn Balor and JD McDonough at WWE for not booking these guys, for not giving them matches because they're so good. Whenever they had tag team matches, they were always certified fresh bangers matches of the night. I don't understand why WWE couldn't just figure it out, you know? It's not a hard equation. Find 7-8 minutes for the tag team division and give us a lightning quick match and allow us to enjoy it and allow the tag teams to flourish. They literally did that formula on SmackDown, and they for some reason were afraid to do it on Monday Night Raw. Since AJ is retiring next year, we should get a proper feud between these two. We probably won't, but that 2018 feud was a letdown. Yeah, the feud with Nakamura will always be one of like the blemishes of AJ Styles' is a WWE run. Same with Nakamura. I will tell you firsthand, when we knew that this feud was going to happen, when we knew it was a WrestleMania match, I was telling people, I was telling my friends, I was like, you have no idea, they're about to put on the greatest match in the history of the WWE, and it was ass. So I would love for these guys to get their redemption. Just give them a chance to top that ass match that they did at WrestleMania all those years ago. I love Aleister Black. Hey, I love what they're doing here, right? I love what they're doing here, and I'm gonna be the first. I'll be the one to say it. Okay, just give him a feud against Cody Rhodes. I'm not even saying beat Cody Rhodes. Just give him a feud against Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. One PLE cycle. It's all I'm asking for, right? Just allow Cody and Aleister Black to do some good work on the mic, to have a great match, for Zelina Vega to show her chops as a manager, as a valet who gets physical in the ring. No one's saying give Aleister the WWE Championship, but I would love to see Aleister get that chance at the main event to impress everybody, and I would love for Cody Rhodes to get a match, a feud with a completely different type of character that he hasn't faced since becoming WWE champion, really since coming back to the WWE. Just gonna leave this here.
Stop me!
All right, I'm done. Get out of here.